these interviews. We just literally threw Matt Martelli out of the chair, told him get lost. We got Shelby Anderson sitting down. Shelby trumps Matt every day of the week. She's just like laughing. I guess I felt like I should give you like one of these UFC intros, like reigning, defending UFC world champion of the world, Shelby Anderson.
Yeah, no, it's awesome coming
You're like,
back
yeah,
here.
no.
I was going to even pull up music, but then she didn't seem that excited, so I was like, never mind.
Just the final countdown, just intro into.
Oh, you just wait. You keep going, Shelby. You keep talking. I'm going to find this.
But no, it's really exciting to be back this year. You know, the class is a lot bigger this year than it was last year, so I'm starting 27th because
You started in the back last year, though, right?
Yeah, I did. I started, I think, 23rd, which was, I think there's only 30 people last year, but now there's up to 45, I think, in my class. So it's like, I thought I was in the back, but now I'm like mid-pack. So it's kind of crazy to see how big that class is this year.
I drew the last couple of years. I was in the first row. Last year I was in the second row. Which neither one are bad, obviously. This year I'm in the very last row. And I'm like, seriously, we got like 70-something entries, and I'm all the way in the back, and it's like, you just got to survive lap one and get through the chaos. It's like, I'm like, man, it could be an advantage, I think, in the back. Like, I see what you've done. I know Brandon Schuler made a run from the back a couple years ago and podiumed, I think. So, like, I think sometimes it could be an advantage.
Yeah, I think even just coming from the work stuff, we're kind of used to that because if you do bad the first round, okay, you're bad in points. So usually they do like 8 to 10 people wide. So if you're 13th in points, you start second row and you have the minute-long gaps. So you have to make up that time. And I think that's what kind of has trained me is working through the work stuff. And now it just kind of prepares me for this. And I like starting in the second row. I don't like starting in the front row because I think it's harder to keep the time than to make it up.
Well, and you can see when everybody messes up which parts not to, or what to not hit.
Oh, there's a car flipped over. We don't want to do that.
Don't do that one.
You might want to slow down here.
See that one? They just slammed on their brakes. Okay.
Yeah, that's part of it too. Is you kind of see and you just hear from other people. Like my dad will be spotting for me, and he'll just say, "Oh, it looks like there's a big pile up somewhere over here." So. Okay, like, all right, well, maybe over there. I need to be careful if everybody's wadding over there. So
I love your dad. Like, I talked with him earlier. Him and I walked around for about 5 minutes. And we were just talking, and like, he loves your success. I think more than you actually love your success. Like, he's so ear to ear grin and like talking about strategy already, and this is how we did it last year. And I think this played into our favor. We're gonna do this year. And like, your dad is so like into this. I'm like, you have such a great support system for your racing.
Yeah, it's awesome. My dad and one of our family friends, Rob, has been there since I was in trophy carts. So since I was like 8. And so it's cool to just have that through my very highs and my very lows of my career. So it's awesome. And even besides them, I have the rest of my family that are racing also. So it's cool to have in my family in this.
It's one thing, and I don't know that any other manufacturer has that. And we saw it, like, because we had this group text that was just went off the rails. I'm in 2 different group texts with Polaris. One is like the ambassadors or influencers, and then this other one I just started. It's about getting interviews together, and stuff goes off the rails. But it's funny is like we all poke fun and we all make joke, but at the end of the day, I know like every single person in that group has my back. I can go into their pit, I can ask for anything, they would go to war for me. And it's like, I think the Polaris group of individuals they've built there, it's like, it's something special. Like, I mean, because I feel like you said, it's just one big family, and it's like we all have a good time together, and we all know we go to war for one another,
Yeah, and I feel like even just a part of this industry, like the off-road industry, is different than even any other motorsports industry. I feel like everybody is always just one. Like, we're all family. It doesn't matter if I'm racing against you in 5 minutes. Like, if you need something, I'll drop everything and I will get you that. And I think that's just how we've grown up in the industry, and it definitely makes us the people that we are, for sure.
Yeah.
Because we all have the same personalities for the most part, Like, if you think about it.
Yeah,
so,
we all like the same things.
Yeah, exactly.
What are these things that we are talking about?
Yeah.
Well, last time I talked to some Polaris drivers, they all went out and partied. Remember at the Mint?
Yeah, those ones are probably like, Tiff's like, yeah, we don't want to go there.
We're not going there.
No. We won't even name them because Shelby knows who we're probably talking about already.
Yeah, Snapchat. Snapchat tells all.
It's okay. Jim said I dodged it. He's like, Tiffany, you dodged it by not going out with us. I'm like, yes.
Yeah. I was like, you dodged a big bullet that night.
It's okay, though.
Yeah. So, no, I mean, we're here. What's your racing plans? I know you're like this you got this. You're still going to school, correct?
Yeah.
Plus, you are working for Polaris RZR Marketing. Plus,
Yeah.
you're racing. Like,
Yeah.
I'm like, what does this year look like for Shelby Anderson?
It's even honestly because I started my internship last summer, and I started doing that with them, and then we just never stopped. So I've been doing that.
You're the
for
intern
almost,
that never went away.
Yeah, pretty much, which is cool because I love what I do. It doesn't even feel like a job most of the time because I know about it. I know everybody in it. Like, it's not.
You were the perfect person for that job, by the way. Like, seriously. And this is not throwing anybody under the bus prior to you, but like you came in there and life got so much better for everybody. And I think even everybody at Polaris, like you were like, because you know everybody, you know everybody's needs, you know what they want, you know what I mean? Like it was just like, and everything, it's like within 24 hours, it's like boom, 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 this is handled, this is handled. I'm like, I told Evan the other day, I'm like, whatever you pay Shelby, it needs to be like double.
No, it's cool. It's not even about that. Like, if you've met Hot Rod, like, my dad's always been the person to just help everybody. It doesn't matter who or what it is. If they need help, like, you want to help them. And I definitely got that trait from him. So it's just like that's where I get part of my happiness from, is just from helping other people out. And then knowing them and, like, being in the industry, it just makes it so much more fun and so much more worth it.
Yeah. So do you even know, I know obviously you're signed Polaris Racer, but do you know what events you're running this year? Like any series you're going to try and key in on at all? I know you bounce between works, you do some desert here and there. Like.
Yeah, my main focus this year is works, and then I plan on like going to Crandon this year and just running that because 50th anniversary, it'll be cool.
Why not, right?
Yeah, so they're all going.
I wanted to
anyway.
race last year, and then they hired me to do TV. I was so it's like I was stoked on that, but I was so bummed because I literally had a ride lined up with bikemen to do the two Crandons, and I was like, oh.
Yeah.
That looks like so much fun. Like you said, you just got to go and do it, right?
Yeah, that's definitely like a once in a lifetime thing. Even if you don't race short course, to me, just that experience is nothing you've ever experienced
and
before.
Crandon is like the odd short course because not like Glen Helen. I mean, it's like stretched out. Like
the start, like it's just a land rush down that big old sweeping right-hander. Yeah, it's insane. It's nothing like, and I've raced short course for more than half my life, and it's nothing compared to Crandon.
Turn one's crazy, especially as a spectator, or if you're sitting up top, because you can watch them come from their land rush start.
That's what I will say about being a TV guy for
you can watch
for Crandon. Like I get to see the entire track. It's awesome.
Yeah, no, and even I feel like all the seats, you get a pretty good view of the whole track, and it's incredible. Like there's nothing like racing back east and doing those races.
No.
Because I even went to what's the one in Elk River?
ERX.
ERX.
Yeah, we were there.
Yep.
You raced the
Yes,
ERX.
I raced the RS1.
Yeah.
And like it's just different. The whole environment and the tracks, everything about it's different than in the Southwest. So it's cool to see.
They have the split lane at ERX, which because you come out of that big 90-degree turn into the split lane, and they changed it because we were there for the Torque Series, the first years when the Carlsons made it, and that one's pretty cool. You did really good in those RS1s. I remember because I was sitting there.
You and Levi and Al.
Yeah, and
I think I have
Diesel
a photo.
Brothers.
The Diesel Brothers.
Yeah, it was fun. It was.
You were in there with a bunch of guys that literally they like to wad things up. So.
Well, and I was even just supposed to be there working the Polaris booth. I was like, oh, I'll go to this thing. I know people racing. Like, I'll go to this event. And one of my other friends that was interning at the time came with me, and he's like, yeah, like we might as well. And so we went, and they're like, hey, so do you want to race? I was like, sure. And Evan was like, yes, you need to. Shelby, you need to race. I was like, all right, I'll do it. And so just got thrown in. Like I had a bunch of loaner stuff, and
that's funny.
It was my first time driving an RS.
I will say too, you got the biggest pop out of everybody. Here's LaValle, the Diesel Brothers, like mainstream names, and like I say Shelby Anderson, and everybody knows the Anderson name. Like everybody went nuts, and you were in there with a bunch of guys. Like you had everybody everybody was rooting for Shelby Anderson. There was like even the hometown boy Levi LaValle. Like seriously, I think they were booing him for you.
No, it was awesome racing those because I think it was actually I've met Levi before, but that was the first time I really hung out with him.
He's a fun dude.
And I know, I know the Diesel Brothers really well.
But you look so tiny, so I took photos. But look, which way is it? It's this way. Look how tiny you look. Look how tiny she looks next to them.
Yeah, 5 feet tall, 98 pounds is.
Well, because I had
Little.
to drive one back because Levi left. So remember how
Yeah.
he won? He's like, "Yay, I won podium," and then he
See ya.
left, and then
Yeah.
Jeremy's like, "Tiffany, we need to get those off the track. We need to get those off the track." So I just sat in there, and then I drove, and then I was like, "No wonder Shelby had such a great time in this one."
Yeah, that was the thing. It seems like more and more recently, because I know I haven't grown, because I haven't grown since the 6th grade. Okay, I haven't grown since I was 12, and I'm almost 22. And I sat in it, and I was like, this is probably one of the first cars I haven't had to do some serious work in to fit. And that's a big problem for me, and like Ronnie too, but his is obviously the complete opposite.
Yeah.
That I think they even did something with Shaq, and Shaq fit the best in the
That's
RS1.
awesome.
And so it was like, it's cool to see that it has that adjustability to make it fit for anybody.
Yeah, that is awesome.
Because me and Ronnie are 2 different extremes, and so it's like, how are we gonna make this work? But it did, so it's cool.
Nice. Well, I appreciate you taking the time to swing by, Shelby. I know you got you said some little shredders in the 170 races here shortly.
Yeah, that's actually another thing I do is I train 170 kids on the side, and I have a bunch of them, and they're out there racing 570s and 170s and just killing it, and it's awesome. That's one of the things I like watching them win more than myself. Like, I was so stoked last year when Caden got 3rd, and he was one of my first students, and I was more stoked about that than I was about my win later that day. Like, it's just, they're the future of it, and so it's just cool to see them and bring them up and not even teach them just about racing and driver technique, but I also like to teach them about sponsorships and speaking and all those little
Everything
things that you need to know with racing, because it's so much more than just going
Racing.
fast.
Yeah.
So,
Okay, Jim, before we leave, though, I got something for Shelby. If this will play. Why aren't you going to play for me now? Oh, okay, womp womp. It was the final countdown.
Oh,
Now it's not playing.
we'll save that for next one. We'll get her to call into the show with us.
I know, we should. And that's just Shelby's intro every time now.
Yeah.
I think
She's
it's
gonna be
coming.
like-
Is it coming?
oh, there it is.
There it is. Dun. Okay, nobody else finds this funny except us. We're like just laughing.
Everybody's
Everybody's
looking
like watching
Everybody's
us.
Shelby's
walking
just
by.
Shelby's like, let me out of here now.
Everybody's walking by like, what's so funny?
I know. Okay, thank you, Shelby.
All right, thanks, guys.